Hi there. This is my assignment 2 for Interaction 1, Graphical Application Design, Prototype and Test. I chose option 2, which is in-car entertainment for the podcast and broadcaster ABC Listen. At the start of the assessment, I wasn't familiar with ABC Listen, so I did some initial research about the service itself, about radio, the history of radio, and I tried to figure out if people still used it. So I did user research about people that I know and tried to find out who uses radio still, who uses apps, and why. I came to the conclusion that I hardly know anyone who still uses or listens to radio. Most people have swapped to, for example, Spotify. Radio delivers a more local and intimate experience and has a long tradition in terms of delivering news. So that just led me to the question of why people don't really use it anymore. And I had 3 reasons behind it that I could come up with, which was maybe the lack of control, not responding enough to emotional needs in personal life, and that it's maybe outdated or just doesn't have enough perks anymore. And that led me to the other question, which was how can we make the use of a radio app more attractive again, and how can we bring radio back into people's lives? The first step was to conduct some user research, which was basically asking who, why, when in radio, which was who drives. First of all, because we're talking about in-car entertainment, car or driving is a very large range. So it applies to a lot of people when people are driving. A lot of people commute. It has to do with work, shopping, it's day-to-day transport. And then just again listing like all the characteristics of radio and about the ABC Listen app. Then we're going to take a look at a couple of target users that I discovered. It's basically, first of all, it's Tasman, who's 39 years old, taxi driver from Queensland, who just moved to Sydney and is trying to find more social groups. She doesn't drive a lot in her free time, but tries to catch public transport. The second person is Julia, who studies and works as well. So she's a pretty busy person, but social and enjoys shopping. Based on that, we can already see that both of the target users that we identified have very different needs. Tasman also has autism, which can make it quite hard for her sometimes to process information. She gets quite overstimulated. That also comes into play. And then the next step of the user research, I decided to go on road trips with them, like just for a couple of drives, and I observed their behavior and did empathy maps on both of their behaviors, what they say, do, feel and think. And I realized that both of them seemed quite stressed at times about things like traffic, busyness, and thoughts were not really directed at the traffic or the driving itself, but more about like day-to-day life. I realized that mood has a massive importance when it comes to driving. There's a lot of frustration that can happen, a lot of excitement when you go pick up your kids, possibly depends on the kids, when you go on a road trip. So I was wondering what could we do from a design perspective to make that experience even better and also offer some great entertainment at the same time, because both of them weren't really listening to radio and I wanted to change that. So the concept was to make audio entertainment more personal, to create an immersive experience in which the audio entertainment side of the ABC Listen app is combined with an interactive map which offers services that both of them need. Let's take Tasman as an example. One day she goes out, she drives through town, she opens up the app, and she doesn't really know where she's going, she's not in a rush. And she said, well, I'm wondering if there's anything going on, I'm kind of bored, I don't have anything to do tonight, so I'll just have a look. She opens the app, she sees a yellow alert on the map, clicks on an alert, and a window opens and there's information telling her that it's going to be a live gig in town. So all she has to do is click a yellow icon and the information is right there for her. Easy, right? Another example is she's driving through town and really feels like some entertainment, maybe live music or theatre. So all she has to do is open up the app, look on the map, and then she can set a filter, set it to entertainment, and it shows her all the entertainment options in the area. The best part is that she can do all of that while listening to her favorite podcasts, while listening to news. She just has to look on the map and can pick and choose what kind of service she wants. She can also just use the map as a sat nav if that's what she desires. She doesn't necessarily have to engage with it. The next step is wireframing and prototypes. So in the beginning, I wasn't sure if I wanted to illustrate or if I wanted to be realistic. So I had basically concept A and B, also number of icons in concept A. I had one set of icons. Concept B, I had two sets of icons. And then in the next step, I developed further wireframes, started developing the icons, and already, even though it was low fidelity, I did a Wizard of Oz test with my flatmate Jessica, who was asked to filter music, and it already made clear that there's a bit of lack of clarity. There were a lot of icons. She wasn't really sure which icon relates to which function, and there were some layout issues that needed to be fixed. Visibility of system status, like just replacing headphones with image, adding textures and colors later on helped a lot as well, just to go with a particular style. And the design overall needed to be more intuitive and simpler. Here you can see experimentation with colors, clarifying icons. This is the first interactive prototype. I did another Wizard of Oz test with Jess, in which I asked her to click on the alert. First issue was she didn't know what the alert was. There was nothing to indicate that, so we fixed that up later on and added some color. I was quite unhappy with the appearance at that stage of the icons. I also thought the window blocked the view. So after that test, I iterated, I added color, I added a hierarchy. There's icons indicating the window is on the bottom, so it doesn't block the view anymore. It's transparent. There's a certain placement, rounded shapes to create calmness, simplicity. I considered text and image size because you're driving, so you don't want to read a lot of small text. And this is the link to the final design, to the interactive prototype. On the bottom, there's a link to a walkthrough. Sorry, I was stuttering a lot in there. Then in the end, I did another test. So I did a SUS test with Jess, where we found out that there is clarity and it's a simple, easy to understand design. It's quite intuitive. The tester was able to identify icons and functions. Obviously, I did use the same tester, so that might falsify that a little bit. There is potential for improvement in the future. Still, affordances are clear. There's a match between system and real world. There's user control and freedom and flexibility. For example, that the user can access the music function on the bottom and on the top. And there's consistency in standards. And that's the end. Thank you and Merry Christmas.